Downtown Beverly Hills looked like this in the 1930s, devoid of any Jewish life. And this was Pico Boulevard, not a shul or kosher restaurant in sight. No one could have predicted that over the next few decades, these areas would grow to become the dynamic centers of Jewish life that they are today. While no one could have foreseen the future, one man had a vision of what Jewish life in Los Angeles could be, and his hard work, leadership, and courage transformed that dream into a reality. Rabbi Simon A. Dolgin was all of 23 years old, newly ordained and living in Chicago, when his rabbi, Oscar Fassman, asked him to go to California for 1 month to conduct high holiday services. Out in Los Angeles, what had begun in 1928 as a small shul meeting in a private home had now become Beth Jacob Congregation in the West Adams section of Los Angeles. Dues were a whopping $6 a year. After 30 days, Rabbi Fassman urged Rabbi Dolgin to stay and build up the Los Angeles Jewish community and to give it at least 20 more years. On September 9, 1939, Rabbi Dolgin was officially welcomed to the Beth Jacob West Adams Hebrew congregation, and he quickly gained a reputation as a mover and shaker. As dynamic as Rabbi Dolgin was, he couldn't do everything alone. In addition to his balabatim, he had the help, support, and dedication of his Eshet Chayil. Rabbi Dolgin met the beautiful Shirley Gordeski at an Orthodox convention in New York City. He proposed shortly after they met, and in 1943, he brought her back to Los Angeles as his bride. Together, they would build a beautiful family, part of a loving, extended mishpacha. Not only did Rabbi and Rebbetzin Dolgin help build a Jewish community, but together they had 6 beautiful children. The Dolgins were partners in every sense of the word. Rabbi Dolgin drew from the Rebbetzins' strong, determined principles. The Dolgin children always felt their father was their greatest gift and inspiration in life. Rabbi Dolgin was a strict father in that he demanded that his children always do their best. It was clear from the start that Rabbi Dolgin was a man of great ideas and foresight. Under Rabbi Dolgin, Beth Jacob's dues were raised to $18 a year because a small school behind the shul was being expanded. By 1949, Rabbi Dolgin and his shul leaders were ready to break ground for the school's expansion. The new building was soon dedicated. At this time, the day school had an enrollment of 37 children. The Talmud Torah had 247 students. The proud West Adams graduating class of 1950 posed for this class portrait. By the early 1950s, the Los Angeles Jewish community had begun to shift westward, away from West Adams. Rabbi Dolgin decided to take a bold leap of faith. He would relocate his shul and school to the new neighborhood. All he asked was that 10 families, a minyan, promised to join him in this historic move. The Beth Jacob Voice announced the purchase of the site at Weatherly and Olympic for a new shul, with building chairman Jack Bayer. In 1954, ground was broken for the first Orthodox shul in Beverly Hills. The new building was then dedicated in May 1955. It was a big structure, even though there weren't too many Jews around. Rabbi Dolgin had once again envisioned the future. In 1955, the Beth Jacob-sponsored day school, now housed in the basement of the shul, got a new name, Hillel Hebrew Academy. With the rapid growth of Hillel, Rabbi Dolgin foresaw the need for a new school building. This campaign was launched by Beth Jacob president Sidney Eisenstadt, who also served as architect for the project. At this point, the school building existed only as a drawing. Rabbi Dolgin announced that he would donate 10% of his salary to the school, and others followed his lead. They knew that Rabbi Dolgin was a man of action, someone who could be counted on to do anything. He also had an eye for great talent. Does anybody recognize the man in the upper right that he hired later to become school principal and dean? Rabbi Menachem Gottesman would go on to be affiliated with the school for 42 years. At last the capital was raised. A Safeway supermarket on Doheny and Olympic was demolished. Ground was broken, and a modernistic circular building began to rise. The Samuel A. Fryer Building was dedicated in 1965. Rabbi Dolgin would truly leave no child behind, and that is why he established a class for special needs children, taught by the wonderful Mrs. Etta Israel. Due to Hillel's growth, by December 1988, it was time to break ground again, this time for an extension of the original building on the adjacent land. In honor of the extraordinary generosity of the Harcum family, in 1988, the school was renamed Harcum Hillel Hebrew Academy. While Rabbi Dolgin had always emphasized the importance of Jewish education, he also was a strong and committed Zionist, teaching and preaching about the centrality of Israel in Jewish life. Years earlier, Rabbi Dolgin had corresponded at length with Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion and had also met him. In the early 1970s, the Dolgins became convinced that it was their turn to fulfill the Zionist dream. In 1972, mostly at Rebbetzin Dolgin's urging, the family made Aliyah to Israel. Once there, Rabbi Dolgin remained a man of vision and a man of action. Here, he celebrates the historic groundbreaking of Beth Jacob in Jerusalem at 9 Paran Street. Rabbi Dolgin made his mark on the Jewish state, just as he had in Los Angeles. The list of his accomplishments kept on growing. He continued to teach, reaching out to new Russian immigrants, for whose freedom he had successfully fought years earlier. Rabbi Dolgin also held many important offices in Israel. He was appointed as Director General of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, and then was elected as Chairman of the World Organization of Religious Zionists. Finally, he was invited to serve on the board of the Ariel Institutes, and then unanimously elected as Chairman of that organization, which trains the finest rabbis and rabbinical judges throughout the world. Rabbi Dolgin, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, leaves behind a great legacy. His children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren continue in his footsteps, and the institutions that he founded and directed continue to grow and to thrive. Rabbi Dr. Simon Dolgin Zatzal leaves a profound legacy for all of us in Los Angeles, Israel, and throughout the Jewish world. His names are significant. Like Avraham Avinu, he undertook a Lech Lecha. He went forth, first to California and then to Israel. Like the prophet Yeshayahu, he had a vision of the future. He dreamed great dreams. He never gave up, and he always was concerned about the welfare of Klal Yisrael. We were blessed to have him in our lives, and he continues to be a blessing for his family and for each and every one of us.